Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. Here for another episodic YouTube adventure for Chaos Corner on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. Drop an elbow on that like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Shout out to my mods, the OTS Tribal Queen, and my brother from another mother, and that would be one Austin Nance, for holding it down, keeping it real, and maintaining. Before we get started here on Chaos Corner, I want to pay homage and tribute and have a moment of silence for the late, great Kevin Castle. From the DT and KC show, Don Tony and Kevin Castle. From Wrestling Soup with all the boys over there, Mish, Joey. And of course, Kev Castle when he did his show with Dark Temptress. I believe I said that correctly. And the one and only John Draper, who's certainly been carrying things on since the sudden passing of his brother just a few days ago. Kev, I'll never forget you. Although we never met each other face to face, we had a lot in common, from the music industry to pro wrestling to podcasting. Well, this isn't a podcast, this is a fucking show. But this is in honor of Kevin Castle. For all his family and friends, you'll truly be missed, my brother, and I know you never thought that people loved you like we do. Thank you, Kevin Castle. Thank you, John Draper. Thank you, Don Tony. Thank you, Wrestling Soup, as we take a moment of silence for Kevin Castle. Rest in peace, Kev. All right, fans. Let's move forward, because in life, we know that we have to move forward and to continue to go on. That's what Kev would want. That's what all his family and friends would want. So what we're going to do here today on the channel is we're going to give a quick preview of WrestleMania 41. Now listen, we don't have all the matches lined up yet for both nights. I'm sure there'll be 14 matches between night 1 and night 2. They've only announced a few different of the matches that will be on night 1 and those that'll be on night 2. So this won't be complete. SmackDown is tonight. Night 1 is tomorrow night. Night 2 is on Sunday. We're looking forward to one heck of a WrestleMania. WrestleMania 41 from Vegas. There's going to be a lot going on, man. There really, really is. Wait, hold on a second. Tomorrow night is SmackDown. I'm as confused as a baby at Hooters. You guys know my mind is like a lazy Susan. It will come back around. Tomorrow night is SmackDown, because we're here live on a Thursday heading into WrestleMania weekend. You know what Bully Ray said to me back in 2007, 2008? You guys know what he said, right? When we were going for the NWA World Tag Team titles against Bubba Ray and Devon, a.k.a. Team 3D, a.k.a. the Dudley Boys, with my guys, the Outcast Killers, Oman Tortuga and Diablo Santiago. As I said, in a series of tables matches, I took the what's up? Yeah, I took that, and I wasn't happy about it. And even got into a test of strength with Bully Ray before he gave me the boom, 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 brrr, the dipsy do elbow roo a la Dusty Rhodes, and a tribute to Dusty Rhodes. Okay, we didn't win those matches. We didn't win the NWA World Tag Team Championships. But this is what Bully Ray said to me back in the locker room, and I'm proud of it. Coming from a two-time Hall of Famer, co-host of Busted Open Radio, host of Busted Open After Dark, perhaps one of the greatest tag teams of all time? No, he said to me, He said, come here, Big Daddy. He said, give the Guardian of Chaos Big Daddy 6 spots and he'll fuck up 5 of them. I consider that to be a compliment. Well, let's get on to the show. You guys understand the point, right? Let me get a little amped up here. I'm sorry about that. Bing, bing, bing. So here we go, and this is what I've gathered on my information. Night 1 and night 2, and then possible matchups. Some of these matches make sense. Some of them don't. I have a bone to pick with the WWE Universe when it comes to championships. Here we go. We'll start off with night 1. Seth freaking Rollins, the OTC, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, and CM Punk in a triple threat match that you would have to assume is for the #1 contender spot. But for which championship? The Undisputed Championship? I guess. Reigns is the former Undisputed Champion. For the World Heavyweight Championship? Because you know there's 2 heavyweight titles. And if you think about it, there was 3, but they combined the 2 all the way back to Brock Lesnar. And now Roman Reigns had it, and then now Cody Rhodes, the Undisputed title, which was 2 titles merged into 1. And then they invented a 3rd title called the World Heavyweight title. Gunther Walter, whatever you want to call him, Gunther, who I happen to be a big fan of Gunther and his work. What a real professional wrestler is supposed to look like and how you're supposed to work in the ring. Just my opinion. And if you don't like it, you can change the fucking channel. So I'm assuming this is a 3-way, a triple threat, 3-way dance, whatever you want to call it, for the #1 contendership. Again, for which title? Who knows? I'm assuming Undisputed because Reigns is in this. Now, if you have the pen in your hand, if you are Triple H, if you're Nick Khan, do you give this match? Listen, to me, the least of the 3 that will win this is the Fashionista, the Divaista, or coming up on Easter. That would be one Seth Rollins. In my opinion, Seth Rollins will not win this triple threat match. Now, it's 3 stars. You cannot deny that with Roman Reigns and Punk. Bigger stars than Rollins, in my opinion. Rollins will not win this matchup. It comes down to Punk, who's getting his WrestleMania main event that he wanted back to 10 years ago. Reigns, if he was to not go over and lose on this match, does it hurt Reigns? Not really. He's the OTC. He's the Tribal Chief. He's got the Ulafala. He's still got wars and feuds to settle with the Samoan dynasty, the bloodline. You can go on with that forever. That's been the best storyline over the last 3 years. Do you give it to Punk, who's got a lot of momentum? Again, I'm assuming this is for the #1 contendership. Now, I don't follow as closely as some of the top prognosticators out here in the IWC, whether it be Don Tony and Kevin Castle. Rest in peace, Kev. Whether it be JD from New York, whether it be the Solomonster, whether it be JD and his partner, the Chi-Town Smart heel Jesse, or on Tuesday Night Titans when it's JD and the Solomonster. There's Wrestling Days that's out there as well as one of the top voices in this industry. I mean, I could talk about everyone from Angle on down to certain guys, to Cornette, to Dutch Mantel. Not that they're all in the same class. That we'll be talking and reviewing and previewing this. So I'm not as invested in watch every single match every single week and never miss it. I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes I miss the storylines. Sometimes I miss the shows. But I keep up on it through moderating the channels that I do. or watching live myself on DVR or whatever it is. I'm going to give this one. This is a tough call. Now, would I be surprised if Roman Reigns won? No. He's been the number one star for the last 5 to 10 years in WWE. But I'm taking CM Punk. That's who I'm taking. I'm taking CM Punk in the main event of night one between Reigns, Rollins, and Punk. I know it's a bold prediction, but I stand with Punk, and I have since day one. Long before AEW and all the horse shit that happened over there. I'm a big Reigns fan. You guys know my connection and being able to work with the Samoan dynasty all the way back to 1983. To being in the ring with Rikishi, Umaga, Yokozuna, traveling with Samu, Fatu, a.k.a. Rikishi, Little Sam, a.k.a. the Tonga King, working the same events with Afa and Lloyd Anawai and Sika, a.k.a. Lloyd L.A. Smooth. So you guys know I have a long history. Why would you pick? I'm a big Jacob Fatu fan. Huge. I think he's tremendous. Why would I pick CM Punk? Because I don't think this will hurt Reigns. That's just my honest opinion. I don't think Reigns, if he was to take the fall on this, I don't think he'll get pinned, first of all. I think Rollins is eating the pin somehow, some way. Again, I'm old school. I'm OG. I'm traditional. I'm respect. I'm the old man brand. I'm the over 50 demo god. Although most of my audience here is between 18 and 34, is almost 40% of my audience, and almost 30% of my audience is female, women. So I'm in that zone. I'm in the demographic. And then, of course, there's my demographic. And I'm not going to acknowledge that mechanical AI bitch that's constantly stepping on me here. I'm not going to let the heat bother me because I'm here to focus. As there's like 3 voices talking at one time. I hear voices in my head. Oh, isn't that Randy Orton's gimmick? I can't steal that. That's gimmick infringement. And speaking of Randy Orton, we're going to get onto that and the whole Kevin Owens thing and the injuries there. But that's what I'm going to take night one. I went way on longer than I wanted to. I'm taking CM Punk over Reigns and over Rollins. Rollins is going to eat the pin. Let me know what you think. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. Wait, Alexa.
Here's a station.
No, Alexa. Play Tropical Rainforest sounds.
Pick and play any song instantly with
How about that? Do you see how she ignores us? This is what our future is. You guys know that, right? I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but this is the interruptions. This is what's going to take your jobs. That's another story for another time. I don't want to get into this. No.
Okay.
I apologize.
I can play similar music instead for free. Here's a mix based on.
All right, here we go. She's going to ramble on. Isn't that a song by Led Zeppelin? Oh, ramble on. Sing my song. Do, 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 do. I'm going to ramble on. No. Too much. Too early. Too soon. I bear with me. I apologize for the technical difficulties. You know that's what happens on this channel. We're Raw Dog. We have 2 camera angles. We have the 80s op board with the bells, whistles, levers, needles, VCR, DVD. Yeah, I said it. And we just use a plain old mechanical device, which I have heat with. You know that, Austin. You know that, David T. You know that, Jen. You know that, Midmo Smark. And everybody else that's tuning in. Hologram, I see you, brother. That's who I'm picking. And I'm going to bounce right over to night 2 because this is what I want to talk about in my rant that I'm going on. The main event of night 2. Cody Rhodes and John Cena. A heel John Cena. I guess the storyline's been okay. People have been glazing all over this with John Cena and the storyline and the heel turn. Of course, The Rock is persona non grata. The Rock tried to get Cody's soul. He took John Cena's soul. And now they're wrestling for the undisputed heavyweight championship. That's going to be on night 2. in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you could keep it on Rhodes. He's perhaps your biggest star right now. But do they give in and give John Cena the record for the most championships his final year, the 2025 World Tour of the retirement of Cena, who's turned heel? And again, people want to say, oh, it's a mere bag of shells, like Jackie Gleason used to say. He was a heel in 2004, 2005, the doctor of thugonomics. So this isn't his first heel turn, and everybody's all over the WWE right now because of the rest of the products out there, from AEW to TNA to MLW, the NWA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, whatever you want to talk about. It's all a bunch of garbage. Meaning, as far as levels, we break it down into levels here in pro wrestling. At least I do. A-ball, double A, triple A, and the major leagues. And you can define that however you want. To me, MLW, TNA Impact, the NWA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, they're all AAA ball. Some of them maybe even AA ball. GCW, House of Glory, so on and so forth. Paradise Alley, Evolve, NXT. To me, the major leagues are just a couple of companies. Obviously, it's the WWE, and their brand split with SmackDown and Raw now for like 15 years, whatever it's been. AEW, because of finances and talent, I guess would be the number 2 company, along with their deals on Max and being on TBS and TNT. You guys understand the levels of pro wrestling, the hierarchy, if you will. So do you give it to Cena? Does Rhodes retain? I'm going to take John Cena in this match. I believe they're going to suck up to Cena. They're going to continue glazing because he turned heel. And I think Cena is going to win the Undisputed Championship. I think it's just predetermined to be that way. Again, it's pro wrestling. It's predetermined. Although it's not fake, the physicality, the athleticism is certainly fucking real. Step in a ring and you'll find that out. But we know that it's a predetermined soap opera, sports soap opera, and whether you like that definition or not, I really don't give a fuck. And I apologize for the cussing. I do. So I'm going to go with John Cena, but I wouldn't be stunned if Rhodes won. You're playing both sides of the fence, Chaos. And no, I'm not. I'm telling you that it can go either way, but I'm going to take John Cena. Just like in the triple threat from night 1, it can go either way, but I'm taking CM Punk. Let's go back to night 1. And what a segue. Gunther Walter against main event Jey Uso, who's quite the tag team wrestler and turned out to be quite the singles grappler as well. And again, no disrespect, because I love the Samoans and owe them more than anybody in this business for allowing me to work with them. Jey Uso is not a main event player. He's not a main eventer. Now, if you want to be on a house show, okay. But not on a major WrestleMania. He's not a main eventer. His promos, to me, leave a lot to be desired in the way he speaks and his approach. And it really doesn't work for me with Jey Uso. And again, I'm not taking away any of his talent, because anybody that's ever stepped in the ring on any level, I respect. You guys know that. I was in the business for 30 years as a pro wrestling manager who took the fucking bumps, which is a lot more than most of you can say. Came out 2 and 3 times a night. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. In my 40-year journey in this industry, in my over 50 years as a historian, a researcher, a scout, an agent, a putter up of rings, hanger up of flyers, ticket seller, promoter, Mark. That's right, I fucking said it. A mark, and I'm proud of it, because we're all marks. For all you geeks and goons and dweebs and neckbeards and virgins and fans that have the brain of a dehydrated baby. No offense, man. What I say, kayfabe. It's not for my fans. I'm taking Gunther. What is this, their 4th bout? If you give this title to Jey Uso, it's a big mistake, in my opinion. Gunther is the man. he will retain the title. That's my prediction. And this is what I want to talk about since I've already mentioned here at 20 minutes in Gunther, the world heavyweight champion, Cody Rhodes, the undisputed champion, Cena, the former champion, Roman Reigns, the former champion, and I'm talking about obviously CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, all involved in these two matches. 3 matches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the top men in the WWE. Not to mention guys that would be in the top 10. I'd also throw in Jacob Fatu, Braun Steiner, Breaker. Those would be my top 10 guys. But why is it that we have 2 different championships in this fucking company? Stand by because we're being interrupted again. Alexa, play Tropical Rainforest sounds.
Here's a station based on tropical rainforest.
Is this
sounds by
unbelievable?
Rainforest Sound.
It is to me. It's kind of annoying, but this is why I give it to you raw dog. Nobody else does it like this. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I already said, this is not a podcast. This is a fucking show. Forgive me for the cussing. Why are we having 2 world championships? Everyone's going to say, well, chaos, it makes it more interesting, more titles, more for the talent, more storylines. El Rongo, as my Spanish-speaking friends say. No me jodo maricón, muévete culo, pendejo. De nada. Don't be offended. To me, it doesn't make sense. I understand Raw and SmackDown. You kind of want to make it 2 different companies. Can we have, for tradition's sake, and I know things change and you have to move forward, but why 2 world champions? Why is Gunther the world heavyweight champion, but Cody Rhodes is the undisputed heavyweight champion? Can we have one? Can we merge the belts? It just doesn't make any sense to me. You want to talk about titles, you already have your titles that are underneath that are most important. You make those titles even more important instead of having 2 world championships, 2 world heavyweight championships. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Hello, McFly, is anybody home? That's why you have a U.S. heavyweight championship. That's why you have an intercontinental heavyweight championship, to make those belts higher. And then if you would listen to me once in a while, which I know that you do because it gets back to me, it's okay. I don't care if you do or not. 1 viewer, 10 viewers, 1 million viewers, none of that matters to me. Or I wouldn't be on the air with over 5,000 videos, well over 1 million total views, well over 500 shows of Chaos Corner. Almost 1,000 Chaos clips. Navigate the channel. You'll see most of my career, in-ring career on here. But back to my point, because nostalgia just ain't what it used to be. It doesn't make sense. Break it up into weight classes as well. Heavyweight, light heavyweight, welterweight, or a cruiserweight. I just don't understand it. And you have tag team championships. Make the other belts more important. This really sticks in my craw for quite some time, to have 2 world heavyweight champions and never to have them meet. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to my era, to where I come from. And listen, I still watch the product in 2025, and I've been watching since the early 70s. And I report on the current product, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about, besides being an insider, which most of you aren't. Doesn't mean your opinion's any less. But I've earned it. I don't deserve anything. You guys all deserved it. I earned it. To me, it just doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. I don't like it. Let's get some weight classes. Let's have 1 world champion. Make the other belts that much more important, and let the world champion bounce back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. Not to mention the third brand, NXT, where you have a champion there. You have a North American champion. You have this champion. It's just, there's too many belts. There's too many champions. It won't hurt any of the storylines if you really tell the story of ring psychology, storytelling, emotional investment. I say it all the time. That's my pet peeve, and that's why I'm going on and on about this. One world champion, weight classes or weight divisions, you'll make it that much more important to your secondary titles. It just makes sense. But I know it won't ever happen. Who knew this would be a predetermined sport would be worth $5 billion for the WWE, and however many millions to AEW and all the trickle-down companies. It really is something. And if you think about it, WWE has 4 shows. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and now Evolve. AEW has Dynamite, Collision, Ring of Honor, and I guess you used to be able to throw in New Japan. So let's now WWE's using talent along with TNA. So you see all the different things that are going on here. It just doesn't make sense. It's over saturation. Motion detected at front camera. We're always watching here at the Ponderosa. Keep your head on a swivel. Surround yourself with like-minded people, because if he's for us, nobody can be against us. Stay mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually fit. Jesus Christ is coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. And that's a shoe. Let's move on, because again, they've only announced a certain amount of matches for night 1 and night 2. And tomorrow night on SmackDown, it'll probably become a little more clear. Night 1, Rollins, Reigns, Punk. I believe it's like a number 1 contendership match. That's my opinion. I'm going with Punk. Rollins eats the pin. Reigns won't be hurt either way. Walter Gunther against Jey Uso for the 4th time. Big mistake if you give it to Jey Uso. I don't care how over he is. He's not over because of his wrestling ability. He's not over because of his mic skills. He's over because he does a yeet with that fucking clown Pat McAfee. Yeet D's. How about that? Gunther should win that. Without a doubt, retain the World Heavyweight Championship. That's my opinion. That's on night 1. Also on night 1, it's Tiffy time with Tiffany Stratton, who is, again, another pet peeve. I'm going to bring it up here because it applies to the women. Because in WWE, whatever the men do, the women have to do, because they want to call it equality and fairness. And meanwhile, they're not the ones that are putting the asses in the seats. They're not the ones that are generating the income. They're not the ones that are selling all the merch. It's not even close. I get it. Women's wrestling has become a big time in 2025. Have your own women's wrestling show. Between NXT is virtually a women's show anyway. Between the women on NXT, Raw, SmackDown, let's see if you could put them on a Thursday night or on a solo show by themselves and see what kind of ratings and income they generate and momentum. That'll be the telltale, because you have to have a women's Royal Rumble, a women's Hell in a Cell, women's Tag Team Championships, it's just too much. It's oversaturation of the sport. Don't you guys and gals see this? You can disagree with me. This is just my viewpoint. Stand by, because we have issues once again, technically. You don't have this on other podcasts because this is a show. Alexa, play tropical rainforest sounds. Alexa, don't ignore me. Play tropical.
I'm not ignoring you.
You
I'm
are.
here and ready to help.
Don't banter with me. She's bantering with me. Alexa, play tropical thunderstorm sounds. No, wait.
Here's a station.
No,
based on
Alexa.
quiet tropical thunderstorm sounds by Nature Sounds Nature Music.
You can't make it up. This is part of the entertainment. It's an extravaganza. It's a bonanza. Alexa, play tropical rainforest sounds.
Here's a station.
That's the kind of mood that I'm in right now.
Sounds by Rainforest
I mean, you can't make this banter up. Am I correct? Bueller? Bueller? Anyone? Thanks for putting up with the chicanery. Tiffy time, Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte the Queen Flair, which everybody hates in this business. I'm not quite sure why the not heat in a good way, but just like the vitriol and the hatred towards Charlotte Flair as like a person, not even because of her ability, just like her as a person. I don't understand it. I really don't. I've this is get off my TV, go away, retire, you know, take a long walk off a short pair type vitriol from the IWC. It really is crazy, and some of you fans out there. It's for the women's championship. Tiffany's a big lady, physical, in great shape, kind of annoying voice. Charlotte Flair's a great wrestler, no matter what you guys and gals think about that. This will be on night one. This is one of the few matchups they've announced for night one so far. So come back and check in here, and you'll see what's going on before WrestleMania 41. I'm going to give it to Charlotte Flair. I believe they give this to Charlotte Flair as the champion, and boy, is that going to set the internet wrestling community on its ears and all you geeks out there. That's really going to piss everybody off, because all you want to do in women's wrestling is you just want to see tits and ass and wear thongs and garter belts. And that's all you guys and goons who I could smell from here. You haven't taken a shower in a couple of weeks or used deodorant. No offense, man. I'm not talking about my fans, my subscribers, the people that tune in here. I'm not talking about you guys. You know who I'm talking about. I believe Charlotte Flair goes over on Tiffany Stratton. And this, and again, this is for the women's championship, whatever the fuck that means. Let's go over to night two, because the only two matches for night two have been announced. We already talked about Cody Rhodes and John Cena. I probably should have put more time into it. I'm taking Cena over Cody. I really am. That's what I think for the undisputed title. Let's go to the three-way triple threat for the women's world title. So what's the difference between the women's championship and the women's world title? Or the men's world heavyweight championship, or the men's undisputed championship? Because you have the brand splits. So you technically have, between the men and the women, 4 world champions. What a bunch of garbage with that. I'm not talking about the talent or the storylines. It's not what I'm talking about before you start attacking me here, which I don't give a fuck anyway. Io Sky, the EST Bianca Belair, who is now turned heel, and Rhea Ripley, who's a real star, and perhaps one of the best women grapplers on the planet. Yeah, she's part of that, of showing her TNA too. And again, I watch women's wrestling for the physicality, for the athleticism. Yeah, okay, they're easy on the eyes, but to have to show all your parts, you could just about see the roast beef, if you will. No offense to anyone. It's not a slight. It's just I'm trying to keep it PG here. You could see the bung holes. You could see the boobies. I'm trying, listen, my daughter, my granddaughter, my family watches this. I have to keep it PG. YouTube's been stepping on my throat for 6 months, and this is for you, YouTube, for what you've done to this channel. But you're not going to stop me. You know that. You have taken away my monetization and my ads, because I don't make a nickel from this, but I'm still here out of motivation, desire, and passion for the business and industry I've been involved with for 40 years and that I love for over 60 years, if you want to be technical. Being interrupted again, so I'm just going to no-sell it. I'm going to go with, listen, it's a lot of people love Io Sky. It would be natural for Belair to win at the EST. Rhea Ripley was the former champion. I say, do you give it back to Rhea Ripley after she just lost it? Do you keep it away from her for a little while and put it on somebody new, although Ripley's your biggest star? Do you give it to Belair as the heel? I don't think Io Sky is going to win this. I think it becomes down to Bianca and Rhea. I want to see Rhea. That's my pick, but I don't think she's going to win. I think they're going to give it to the EST, especially when everybody out there wants to complain about the race card and no equal representation for Hispanics, Asians, blacks. It's got to be the first this, the first gay, the first trans, the first inter, the first black, the first Hispanic. Guys, get over all that. Can we go by ability? I don't want to get too crazy here, but can we go by what Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, other influential people have said? Let's go by the content of your character or hard work instead of your color of your skin. It's 2025. We've gone back further than things were and worse than things were in the civil rights of the 60s and in the 70s when I grew up than we are now in 2025. We've reverted back in this society, and it's all done for division because that's what they want. And you guys feed right into it. Who gives a fuck if you're the first black? Who gives a fuck if you're the first Hispanic or the first gay? Why do you got to let that identify and be who you are? Look at me because I'm black. Look at me because I'm white. Look at me because I'm Hispanic or I'm gay or I'm a female. I'm the first one to do this, the first Japanese, the first Asian. Why? Why does it have to be that way? Why can't it be just on your own skills, your own merit, instead of going on your culture, your color, your creed, your religion? Why? It doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be in this country. The American dream is by hard work. No matter who the fuck you are, what you look like, or where you came from. I'm speaking common sense here. Again, I just don't understand it, but I think Bianca Belair wins. Equal representation or not. Don't get me started on the whole Swerve Strickland and Booker T thing, which I've been in both their companies and had the pleasure to be on the same shows with both men. Booker T and Swerve Strickland for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. That's just a fact. So I don't get that whole issue too. I agree with Booker. Work harder. Get it on merit, not your background, your culture, your skin color. And if you don't agree with that, again, you know my opinion. I don't give a fuck. It's not to offend anybody. We could all be different and have different opinions. It's okay. But what this wrestling community has turned into is ridiculous. So tell me the difference between a women's world title and the women's championship. Again, what are you doing here? Too many titles, oversaturated, just like the podcast industry. Thank God this is a show. Or wrestling in general. Oversaturated. The indies are booming and flourishing in every town, city, state across this country. Japan, Mexico, Canada. Like the territorial days, there's enough wrestling for everyone. And with the way they price everybody out and the thousands of dollars coming up to go to WrestleMania, I mean, you can go to an indie show and pay $20 and see the future and have accessibility and have great entertainment with your family. For the lunch pail guys, the blue collar workers, men and women and the family people of this fucking country that everyone wants to brag about, and the higher ups and the elites, they're in a big club and you ain't in it, man. That's the biggest gate, the biggest revenue, the most attendance, the highest ticket sales, because you're charging quadruple the fucking prices. And you've priced all of us out. It's just that simple. I know I'm bouncing around here, but this is what you get on this show. So again, I don't like the whole title thing here. I really don't. I said who I'm picking. I'm taking who I'm picking. I'm standing by it. And if I'm wrong, it's pro wrestling, man. You're supposed to have fun with it. But these are the things that irk me because nobody ever looks in that rear view mirror. It's smaller for a reason. But it's there for a reason. Respect the ones who came and paved the way before you, the true carpenters of this business. Because without them, you wouldn't fucking be here. And you certainly wouldn't get to where you want to go. And then you look into that windshield for the future and mash the pedal full speed ahead because there's a bright future in that. But you can't go anywhere without that rear view mirror. Stop being caught. Old school, you're caught in the past, old man. Sit down and shut up. No, make me. I'm not hard to find. And that's a fact. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. Because there's three types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened. Those who wonder what happened. And people like the GOC. Big Daddy that make things happen. Remember that. Coming up on 40 minutes. Again, I don't know what night these next matches are on. There's only been 3 for night 1. We talked about the triple threat, Rollins, Reigns, Punk. We talked about Gunther and Jey Uso. We talked about Stratton and Flair. Night 1 announcements. We talked about Night 2. Rhodes and Cena. Sky, Belair, and Ripley. So only 5 matches out of the potential 14 have been announced thus far as of today. On what nights? But here's the other matchups. LA Knight, yeah, aka Eli Drake against Jacob Fatu. Alexa, play Tropical Rainforest sounds.
Here's a station
This is
based
getting
on
old.
tropical rainforest
Pretty
sounds
soon I'm
by
just going to
Rainforest
unplug it.
Sounds.
I like to have the background as a distraction. Being interrupted a lot today. They're always listening. So LA Knight, the U.S. champion against Jacob Fatu. Okay, they screwed over Eli Drake. LA Knight before. He's over with the fans. He gets a big pop. There's no two ways about that. He's in incredible shape. Although, in my opinion, a stone cold ripoff. Just that, I'm telling it like it is. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what I think about LA Knight. But now that people were crying last year, oh, he didn't give him a shot, he didn't give him a chance. Well, he's the U.S. champion now. To me, I give the title to Jacob Fatu. Not that he needs it. Knight probably needs it more than he does to further his continuing career. He's a guy in his 40s. Jacob's much younger. I'm taking Jacob Fatu to win the United States title over LA Knight. That's my prediction. I believe he's earned it. I believe that's the right call. Even though Knight is over, Fatu will put asses in seats as well, if not more so. Again, guys, let me know what you think. Then for the Intercontinental title, we have a 4-way, which I don't like any of these because the champion, just like the 3-way women's, for the women's world title, Sky, Belair, and Ripley, the champion could lose without getting pinned, and that's a bunch of horseshit, in my opinion. Just my opinion. You don't want your champion to lose. How fair is it a champion or a tradition or the honor of the belt to lose the belt when you didn't even get pinned? Never liked it, will never like it. Same thing here. 4-way. Braun Steiner Breaker, the IC champion, against Finn Balor. Penta. Cero Miedo. What a transition for this guy. From Lucha Libre to American Style to how he was presented in AEW as part of the Lucha Brothers with Ray Phoenix to his biggest singles run of his career in the packaging and the promos and what they've done with Penta here in the WWE. And in that same match, Dirty Dom Mysterio. Now that's natural, real heat that Dom has brought. And boy, oh boy, has this kid transitioned into a man and to one of the best heels in the business over the last couple of years. Give him a lot of credit for growing up in this industry. Breaker, Balor, Penta, Dom. This to me is a no-brainer. You keep the belt on Steiner, a.k.a. Breaker. It should be an interesting match. The spears from Breaker, the high-flying ability from Penta, Balor, and Mysterio. This is going to be a banger, as the kids say in this matchup. Just my opinion. Steiner retains. And if you don't, you'd be ignorant for WWE staff and writers and Triple H if you take this belt off of Breaker right now. This is a no-brainer. Also, El Grande Americano, the Lucha Americana, against Rey Mysterio, the 619, the Lucha legend. A lot of Lucha Libre influence in the world of pro wrestling, whether it be AEW or any of the other organizations in the WWE. Lucha Americana, El Grande Americano, whatever you want to talk. They're trying to do something here with Gable, who's an incredible worker, really is. Mysterio, the legend that he is, Hall of Famer already. We know that. It doesn't hurt Rey Mysterio to lose. So I'm taking Gable, a.k.a. El Grande Americano, in this match to see where it's going to go. You're not going to put him under a luchador mask and end the story this fast. I don't believe. A loss never hurts Rey Mysterio. I'm taking Gable. Oh, wait. El Grande Americano. Then there's the grudge match between Naomi and Jade Cargill. Respect both women, both in great shape. Naomi's come a long way, especially now since she's a heel. She was very likable as the the glow, but it's way too old of a gimmick. It's played out. Having her turn heel was the right call. Jade Cargill has not fulfilled her potential, whether it was in AEW or WWE, and she's a physical specimen. I just don't think she gets it yet. There's a lot of time, a lot of room for improvement with Cargill. Do you give it to her? Do you still invest in her? Does the loss hurt Naomi? No, it doesn't. But for the heel gimmick that you're trying to portray her in now and maybe have it further on to go on against Bianca Belair, maybe you give her the victory, but then I think that really hurts Cargill. What do you guys think about Jade and Naomi? I'm going to go with Cargill. I've been a supporter of hers because she is an athlete, but I don't think she's gotten it yet. She still needs more seasoning. And maybe I won't take Cargill. This one is a toss-up between Naomi and Cargill. It can go either way, and I think it hurts Jade more than it hurts Naomi. Guys, let me know if I'm wrong or I got the information wrong here. I don't get offended. Again, I don't scrutinize it like you guys do because it's just not for me, 2025. It's just not my business anymore. It's not my industry. Another grudge match that certainly didn't have a lot of storyline going into it. Logan Paul and AJ Styles. Now, I've been on several events over the years with AJ Styles, a great guy, a legend, a Hall of Famer, an incredible athlete, the phenomenal one. I think he's probably coming near the end of his career. Logan Paul grabs that natural heat and is one heck of an athlete. And to me, next to perhaps Kurt Angle, the best transition from another sport to pro wrestling is Logan Paul. I'm taking Logan Paul over AJ Styles. He's got more heat than anybody in this company, as much as The Rock, Cena. Just my opinion. Just where I'm coming from. So I'm going to take Logan Paul over AJ Styles, which should be a heck of a physical matchup. The athleticism by these two alone. That's my prediction. Now these haven't been announced, but I did my due diligence because research is your friend. The potential of Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, two big men, two former champions. I believe that's going to be on WrestleMania 41. I believe they're leaning towards that. They've been setting this up between Priest and McIntyre. I'm going to take Drew McIntyre over Damian Priest if this goes down. Both men need a victory right now. Who does it hurt more? Who does it help more? Who's the bigger star? Both big men, what pro wrestlers are supposed to look like. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre over Damian Priest.
On his podcast,
just my opinion as we continue to be interrupted here. Alexa, play Tropical Rainforest Sounds. It still doesn't get me down. You guys know that, right? This is a temporary distraction, a much-needed stress reliever for all of us, considering the times that we're living in. Wars, rumors of wars, the economy, the market, natural disasters, illegal immigrants, crime, vitriol, hatred, left, right, in the middle. Doesn't matter where the fuck you come from. One world. Let it play out. Let's see what happens. But the hatred and vitriol in this country, around the world, it was written, it was foretold. Open up the good book. We all fall short every day, but that doesn't mean that you stop trying. That's all you really have. You have family, some close friends you can count on, and after that, the first thing is your faith. For the Tag Team Championship, a forgotten division, a forgotten style, forgotten sport, however you want to say it, forgotten tradition, I already said that. The War Raiders, the tag team champions, I believe it's been rumored they will be going up against the New Day, former umpteen-time tag team champions, who I always thought were overrated. Kofi's a good grappler for a light heavyweight. Big E was damn good in his own right. The little guy there who used to play the trombone, I forget his name. He's pretty good for a light heavyweight. Together they made a good unit. They were around. And Bootios. It's a new day. Yes, it is. Played out. Just my opinion. I like the War Raiders and the tradition of tag teams, the old school traditional style, which nobody in this industry, in this business, pays any attention to the tag teams of the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. When you had 20, 30, 40 tag teams, the depth was unbelievable. It's lost its luster in this day and age. I believe that's going to be another matchup. I'm taking the War Raiders to defend against the New Day. Just my opinion. Again, these matches aren't etched in stone yet. And when I say that, I'm talking about McIntyre against Priest, War Raiders against the New Day. We don't know what night Styles and Logan Paul will be on. Cargill and Naomi. Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Breaker and Balor and Penta and Mysterio for the IC title. LA Knight and Jacob Fatu for the U.S. Championship. We don't know if it's going to be on night 1 or night 2. Here we are a few days away, and they've only announced 5 bouts for night 1 and night 2. 3 on night 1. I already talked about the 3 on night 1 and the 2 on night 2. I mean, what is this? In the past, it's been laid out. So I'm a little disappointed by that. I don't think the build up to 41 has anywhere been near of what WrestleMania 40 was. Just an observation, just an opinion, a professional opinion. And now what's going to happen with, speaking of all the interruptions and everything that's going on here on the show today, and different voices and 3 and 4 different interruptions and people talking at once. I hear voices in my head. Randy Orton. I believe he was slated to perhaps go against KO, a.k.a. Kevin Owens. Fight Kevin, fight KO, fight. Who's injured and out now perhaps for his career. So let's give our thoughts and prayers out to one of the best grapplers in the WWE. A true tough guy who's earned it in Kevin Owens. Doesn't always look the part with his ring gear, but the guy can go like anybody's business. KO is out. He's injured. And he may be injured for good. And I hope not. He's an awesome grappler. So where does that leave Randy Orton, the Viper, who's back? Jacked, ripped, chiseled, buffed, like shredded wheat. A true legend. Where does that leave Randy Orton for WrestleMania 41? So a lot of questions to be answered here 3 days before WrestleMania 41. We're here on a Thursday. We still have to play out of what's going to happen on SmackDown. And then Saturday's night 1. Where you're going to see Rollins, Reigns, and Punk. You're going to see Gunther and Uso. You're going to see Stratton and Flair, and who knows what else. You guys may know more than me. I don't know that. That's why I always say leave a comment, say something in the chat, post something afterwards on the replay, and let me know what I'm missing, what I don't know, because I certainly appreciate you guys. We're only a couple days away from night 1. And then night 2, only 2 bouts. The big one with Cody and Cena. Will The Rock show up at 41? Is The Rock going to be anywhere around? Again, the build here has been a snail's pace. And of course, we know about the Women's Championship on night 2. Oh, wait, the Women's World Title, the 3-way. That's what we have for WrestleMania 41 for my preview and predictions. We're less than an hour. We kept it under an hour here. I'm going to hang out for a couple minutes so we get up to about close to an hour. I can't thank you guys and gals enough. Much love and respect for being here. It really means a lot to me. But that's what we have for WrestleMania 41 from Vegas, coming up in just a couple of days. And if you're out there, all the indie shows and conventions and everything that's going to be going on, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I've been out there, 3 or 4 times myself. The last time was 2015. So this is going to be an extravaganza, a bonanza, unlike AEW Dynasty the other night with between the pre-show and the main event, 6 hours. Some matches were okay. Most of it was just not for me. The best match of the night for me was probably the three-way or maybe even Tony Storm and Megan Bayne in the women's division. Let's sit here and ponder this for a second. And again, as we wrap up the show here, this show is in honor of the late, great Kevin Castle. Guys, let me know if you've heard any rumors, any updates on WrestleMania 41. Just like when I did the preview and prediction show for AEW Dynasty last week. At that point, they had only announced 7 matches. They ended up having like 13. So I couldn't even get all the matches in, and they weren't even worth previewing or predicting. Just my opinion. Again, I respect everybody that steps into the fucking ring, because most of you haven't. So, again, update me. I mean, clue me in, man, for WrestleMania 41. I think I've covered a lot of it. I've come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 matches, and Orton with 13 if they can come up with an opponent. Alexa, play Tropical Thunderstorm sounds. So who is Orton going to go against? I just don't know. So with the prediction of 7 matches on night 1, 7 matches on night 2 for a total of like 14 matches, there's still a match or 2 to be announced. So this isn't complete by any stretch of the imagination, but we know what the big ones are. I've mentioned them before. I don't want to make this any longer than it already has. Again, we kept it under an hour. So on a Thursday night tonight, when there's nothing else on in the IWC, tune in, share this, leave a comment, hit that like button, get us into the algorithm, sit back and enjoy, grab a snack, a beverage, grab your friends, and enjoy this conversation, because you know I support every one of you. And if you're watching and if you're listening, go out and support these fellow podcasters in this space, in this community. There's my brother and fellow moderator, Hoolagrim. Go out and subscribe to his channel, the Hoolagrim. Very knowledgeable in this business. And then, of course, there's Big O, my buddy Otis, my brother, Big O Gaming, who does a lot of live streams in the industry. Go out and subscribe to his channel. Then, of course, there's the former Funny Rob Bebe, who's now Hoodie Rob Bebe, who's always on here streaming. Subscribe to his channel. Go out and check my brother out, my boy, if you will, from Louisiana. And that would be the Scripps Wrestling Federation. Go out and check out Scripps, who also does a lot of live streaming, and subscribe to his channel. Then there's my supporters out there, whether it be Future, my brother, that's for you, Future, whether it be Kratos, who's a sidekick and a co-host on some of the shows I just mentioned. And then, of course, there's the steady on every Tuesday night, the Wrestling Council. That's right, the Wrestling Council with Hollywood. That's right, Hollywood, it's looking at you. Comic Book Bob, the big man, and their co-host. Here's Johnny, the artist. Unbelievable artist. And then there's my old longtime friend, who's one of the best in the business, one of the most professional, a historian, a researcher, the Professor, Rick Del Santo. Whether it's from Pro Wrestling Wire, the former Pro Wrestling Zone podcast, Pro Wrestle Zone, an unbelievable interviewer and reporter, sponsor, just a great guy who knows this fucking industry. That would be the Rick Del Santo show, my buddy Rick Del Santo. All you guys out there, can't thank you enough. Subscribe to those channels, and you won't miss anything. And thanks for being here. Remember, go over to the post section here on the channel. I post almost every day. Follow me on Twitter, a.k.a. X at Big Daddy GOC. And the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. I'm very active on social media over there almost daily. I'll say that to say this. Because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it.